Hey everyone, this is Teacher on the Radio, and you are listening to this week's interview portion of Teacher on the Radio number 436 for Halloween 2022. And it only happens about once every 7 years, I guess, or something like that, that Halloween falls on a Monday and that I'm actually not out of town at a concert or a festival. So here we are. And I've got a wonderful guest, my colleague here from the university, Professor Dr. Poet Erin Hoover, who's the new official poet in our department. She came on board last year to replace the late Tom Saya, who passed away in 2019. We're so grateful she's here. And we were just chit-chatting one day, and wouldn't it be cool if there was a poetry series in town? Of course, Erin and I do lots of events at the Backdoor Playhouse, which many of you have been to for our open mic nights, as well as our featured readings with people like U.S. Poet Laureate Ada Limon and the mystic poet Shalane Harkin. Those just happened, a few weeks ago. But I want to welcome Erin to the Teacher on the Radio pre-recorded interview portion. And Erin, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about your poetry journey and how you ended up in Cookeville and at Tech? And then after that, you can tell us about the new series that's coming up. And we're doing it today because it starts next week, a week from today. I'll literally have to run from the poetry, from the DJ studio to the poetry reading in a week. I'm so excited to have Erin Hoover on Teacher on the Radio, which is being pre-recorded for 88.5 FM WTTU, The Nest. Hey, Erin.
Hey, Andrew, thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate that your show's been going a long time, and you certainly have your fans. Thanks everyone for listening to this interview with me. So my name is Erin Hoover, and I started teaching at Tennessee Tech a little over a year ago. Before that, I've really lived quite a few places. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but most recently I came from Arkansas. And for a long time, I wore a PR and publicist hat, which has come in really handy, I have to say, being a poet with a small press book. My first book, Barn Burner, came out from Elixir Press in 2018, and I have a second collection that will be out next October, actually, called No Spare People from Black Lawrence Press. But along the way, I've done editorial work. I'm a big fan of events, really, for poetry. I think that events keep our community going. They provide an opportunity to celebrate that part of us that loves poetry and that loves writing in general. And I think it gives a spotlight to the talent that walks among us every day. You don't necessarily know that someone you see at the post office or you pass in your car, is writing a story at home, or really they're practicing their formal poetry. Maybe they've just written a villanelle. You don't exactly introduce yourself that way, right? Like, oh, hi, I'm Erin, I wrote a villanelle last night. So I think having a monthly poetry series will be a great benefit to our community.
Erin, years and years ago, over 30 years ago, in Detroit, I got back from my summer at Naropa, the Jack Kerouac School, with Ann Waldman and Allen Ginsberg and all these people. And I still have dear, dear friendships that I made that summer. I said, I have to have a poetry series. It happened to be on Monday nights in Detroit, and it won the best poetry series in the whole city from the weekly paper. But I only did it for a year and I tired out. I hope that your upcoming series will last for many, many years. But you have a full calendar, and you're on Instagram. I think you also have a Facebook page as well for the new poetry series. So everyone needs to go and like the Sawmill Poetry Series, and you can get them at facebook.com/Sawmill Poetry. And our first guest is Anna B. Sutton with she's the recent author of Savage Flower. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Anna? Also, why don't you tell us about where this is happening and how to find it and what time it's happening? It's exactly 1 week from the airing of this show on Halloween, and we're pre-recording this on the internet. So it's a week from coming Monday if you're watching it on the internet. So the live stream or the archived version of the live stream. So Erin, why don't you tell us about the world premiere day of Sawmill Poetry on Monday, November 7th?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the reasons why I think this series is happening now, not only because I wanted to do it, but because we have an independent bookstore and community space in Cookeville called Plenty on Spring, which had their grand opening really recently. They'd been open, I think, for a few weeks before that, but they are a new space. They sell all new books. They have a great selection of books, I'll say, for a smaller store. A lot of great fiction, nonfiction, politics, a lot of kids' books. I mean, I love that too. It's just a really nice homey space on Spring Street, which is in the West Side in Cookeville. And so I spoke with them about getting this series started. I had a number, I wanted to bring poets from the South or the Mid-South. So the featured poets will be driving a little bit to get here. And because of Plenty on Spring, they'll have a place to stay as well. So our first poet, Anna B. Sutton, is from Nashville originally, but she was a student who graduated from the Appalachian Center for Craft. So she was here at Tech, and she now lives in North Carolina and has a book called Savage Flower, which came out, I believe, in 2021. Okay, so it's even newer than that. But it's a great book. I had a reading group at the Tennessee Tech Women's Center. I'm a big fan of Anna's work. And so the fact that she's able to open up our series is great. We also have poets booked through April. So the first Monday of the month, coming from New Orleans, coming from Birmingham, Montgomery, coming from Knoxville. So poets from Oxford, Mississippi, trying to find poets from throughout our region. But beyond that, I really want folks who are writing here in Cookeville and in Putnam County to come out and be part of the open mic. So that'll be just following the featured poet reading.
I have no idea what I'm going to read, but I'll pick something and I'll be there with bells on. So what time does it start again? I think I already have to get there at 6:45, so it starts at 7.
Yes, it starts at 7. I'm going to MC the event, and I would just like everyone who wants an open mic slot to be there by 6:45 to sign up. So the slots are 5 minutes. We're open to whatever kind of poetry you write, and that includes performance and slam poetry. I'm open to hearing some song lyrics, provided you wrote them. I don't know, the covers would fit, but also flash fiction or flash essay. So it's not strictly poetry. Other kinds of writing are welcome too, and also it's your 5 minutes. If you can fit 2 poems or 3 poems into that 5 minutes, I say go for it.
So how many slots will there be available?
I don't know. We'll see.
How long is Anna going to read for? Hour, half hour?
Probably half an hour. I do want there to be plenty of time for open mic, and I also want there to be time for Anna B. Sutton to meet folks here, to be able to sign books. Plenty on Spring will have her book for sale. So you'll be able to pick up your own copy of Savage Flower and meet the author. So I think she'll probably read for 30 minutes. I'm imagining the open mic could go for an hour. It might go longer than that if we have more people. It won't go into the wee hours, but I want to hear from everybody who wants to read.
I can't wait. I'm so excited that you're doing this series. Erin Hoover is my guest. She's a local poet from all over the world, Pennsylvania, Arkansas, the whole world. And she's chosen Tennessee Tech as her vocational home, and she's expanding the poetry scene here in Cookeville in a huge way with the debut of the Sawmill Poetry Series on Monday, November the 7th. Anna B. Sutton's going to be coming in from North Carolina. We've got a monthly feature. She's got a beautiful flyer already on the website. And you can find Plenty on Spring because you can go to the Vertical Coffee Company. You can go to the gaming the place where they play board games. There's the Picasso Art Gallery. There's a couple of art galleries there. I think Ron Baker has his art gallery right next to it. There's like an art gallery. There's 5 art galleries. There's a Dairy Queen too, and a Mexican restaurant. And you're right around the corner from Meg's Breads and Ralph's Donuts and Hicks Brewery. That kind of lower Spring district has become really the epicenter of Cookeville, where the official West Side got too fancy. All the hipsters moved a whole street south from West Broad down to West Spring. The West Spring boho district of
We should
Cookeville.
call it the Arts District.
It's amazing. It's an amazing neighborhood. So
Yeah.
go get your coffee from Vertical before they close. Vertical, formerly known as Broast, and show up by 6:45 to sign up. Thanks to the people who run Plenty for offering you this wonderful space and trusting you to book these amazing poets. So you're going to read us a poem by Anna B. Sutton, I believe, and then we're going to wrap up our little preview session here. And I'll get back to my music here. You're listening to a pre-recorded portion of the Teacher on the Radio program, which airs every Monday from 4 to 6 at 88.5 FM, The Nest. And this is also pre-recorded on the internet for anybody who wants to live stream it on Facebook or YouTube. Erin's going to read a poem by Anna B. Sutton.
Okay. Before I do that, I just want to mention that you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram with the handle @Sawmill Poetry, SAWMILLPOETRY. Lucky to snag all those handles. And that'll be the best place for you to find out when readings are happening, who will be there, if there are other little things that come up that I might be able to promote in Cookeville's literary culture. I'll also be posting them there. So do follow that. But I'm pleased to read Anna B. Sutton's poem now, Postpartum. It's the first poem in Savage Flower. The barn cat slinks onto the porch and stretches out across a swatch of afternoon sun. Last night, she left a tiny headless rabbit bleeding on the mat. Did you know a baby rabbit is called a kit, short for kitten? It's a funny thing, the way we name our progeny. A kitten is not a cat, or a rabbit even. An infant is not a man. The sun was once something called a protostar, an embryo born under the weight of a dust cloud's own collapse. Billions of years later, the barn cat is picking fur from between her toes, and somewhere in the tall grass, a rabbit is missing.
Thank you so much, Erin, for being my guest today on this live stream pre-recorded portion of the Teacher on the Radio program. Again, this is going to be up on my Facebook, and it will be on my YouTube, and it will be a part of Monday, October 31st Halloween show. So everybody, happy Halloween. And the music is going to come, and all of the theme is death and grief and resurrection and all those All Saints Day, Dies de los Muertos themes. And so I hope everybody gets a lot of good candy and also has a great costume planned. Erin, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you. @Sawmill Poetry.